coming to Bailee Bob's Boneyard, where we're all about barkers, blood, books, boxes, and burps. For Bailee Bob's Boneyard, I'm gonna be reviewing horror movies or movies that are generally scary or dark or creepy because that's my favorite genre. It's kind of my thing. I love horror, I love scary, I love creepy. So those are the types of movies that I'm gonna be continuing to review, not comedies or animations or kids movies, nothing against them. I love those movies too, but I'm sticking to a theme here. It's barkers, blood, which would be horror movies, etc. So when I do my horror movie reviews, what I'm going to be doing is talking about the horror elements, such as if it's blood and guts, if it's suspense, supernatural, monsters, etc. I'm going to talk about what type of horror movie it is, what elements are in it, and tell you if you should watch it based on what you're looking for. Today I'm going to be reviewing a horror movie called The Hunt. The Hunt is a 2020 horror movie directed by Craig Zobel, starring Betty Gilpin and Hilary Swank. I'll give you a warning before I do any spoilers so that you can choose to turn the video off if you want to watch the movie, or if you're not planning on watching it, then you can keep watching it anyway with the spoilers. So the plot of the movie is basically this group of people are being hunted by other people. We don't know why. It just opens up with them it reminded me of like a Hunger Games arena almost, and the premise is following them being hunted. The main horror elements in it were horror comedy. It was a lot funnier than I expected it to be. I didn't realize going into it that it was actually a horror comedy, but it made me laugh a lot. Lots of blood and guts, violence, and killing. Those were the main horror elements in it. All right, now at this point, I'm gonna be talking about some of the details. So that will include spoilers. So if you're planning on watching the movie and you don't wanna know, go ahead and skip to the end of the video, or turn it off, or turn me on mute, or whatever you wanna do, because I'm gonna give spoilers now. So I'm gonna talk about the blood and gore first. They did a really, really good job on this. I loved the special effects, and the makeup artists did a great job. It was so awesome. Towards the beginning, one of the cool effects was a woman takes her high heel shoe, and she uses the heel of her shoe and stabs it into a guy's eyeball. And when she rips it out, the eyeball is still attached to the end of the heel, along with the eye socket dangling on it. And that was so cool, and it made me gasp. I was like, whoa. Emma Roberts was one of the actresses in this movie. She was in it for a good amount of time at the beginning. At first, I thought that she was gonna be the main star because I watched this movie without looking at the IMDb credits or seeing who was the lead. But they make it seem like she's gonna be the lead, and it follows her and it opens on her. And then she gets shot in the head and gets her head blown off, and blood squirts everywhere and squirts onto the guy next to her. It was really cool. And that was another comedic moment because right beforehand she said, there were guns going off, and she said, oh, that gun almost shot me. And then it hit her, and that was funny. Another part, this is one of my favorite parts in the movie. It was so good. I was dying laughing. This girl is running away from the people shooting at her, and she falls into a spike pit and lands onto the spikes. They're going through her in multiple places in her body, but she's still alive, even though obviously she would not be alive after that. So this guy helps her, pulls her up, she's running away, and then he steps on a bomb, one of those mines, and his reaction is so funny. He looks, he goes, and then they explode, and she falls back into the pit again, and she's still alive again, but this time her legs are gone and her guts are hanging out of her body. So she's just an upper torso with guts hanging out, and she's still alive, and it's really funny. And she's like, shoot me! And she takes somebody's gun and shoots herself in the head so she doesn't have to, lay there suffering with no legs, since apparently she can't die. Another funny part was there was this guy, he was one of the antagonists, and one of the protagonists took a grenade and shoved it down his pants, and the guy was like, oh, and he was like fumbling for it, and then he finally exploded. That was pretty cool. Another cool death that they didn't really show all the way, which is unfortunate because it would have been really cool, was the main girl ran over a bad guy's head, like the tires completely smushed him. And you could hear it, and that was really dope, and it was a cool death. I wish that we could have seen his head smashed though, the same way that they showed the eyeball being ripped out of the head. Something that a lot of horror movies have is jump scares. This movie didn't. It was very much straightforward, in your face. Here's blood, here's guts, here's people dying, here's people killing people. They didn't hide it or try to surprise you with it. They very much threw it in your face. I don't need jump scares. I just like blood and guts, and I thought it was very artistic also, and the way that they made it look very realistic and the way that they handled it, it was really enjoyable for me. At the end, the two leads, Hilary Swank and Betty Gilpin, they have a badass fight. They go head to head, they're punching each other, slapping each other, stabbing each other, they're bleeding profusely. They should have died halfway through, but again, it was a comedy, and their fight was gruesome but funny. And eventually they finally pin each other down. They're both laying on the ground, bloody, and then they start talking, and then Hilary Swank just dies. Like, she just dies. And Betty Gilpin's like, all right, cool, I win. And she steals the girl's dog and then flies away in an airplane. She doesn't grow wings. The kill count was a total of 22 people, but there were 23 kills, unfortunately, if you want to include the cute little pig, which made me really sad because it was a really cute pig. But yeah, he dies. So overall, this is definitely the movie for you if you like horror comedies, because it was horrific, but it was also very funny. I was genuinely laughing throughout all of it, and if you like blood and guts and gore, they did a really great job on that. So if that's something that you're into, I would highly recommend The Hunt. On a blood scale from 1 to 5, I give this movie a 3.5 pints of blood, because it had a lot of blood, a lot of killing, and a lot of guts, but it wasn't every single scene excessively over the top. For example, one of the killings was poison. There wasn't necessarily blood in that killing. It was still a death, and it was still really cool, but it wasn't all consistently just blood, 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 blood. So I give it a 3.5 pints of blood. If you've seen this movie before, comment below and tell me what you think of it, if you thought it was funny too. If you have any other horror movie suggestions that you'd like me to review or that you think I should watch, you can totally leave me a recommendation in the comments, and I'll say if I've seen it or not. And even if I have already seen it, I can still do a review anyway for fun. So let me know what you think. And as always, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. Thank you for visiting Bailee Bob's Boneyard. See you next time. And she stabs this, what's it called? So when I do my horror movie reviews, killer and violence. I can't speak. Blood and glut.